So today we'll be getting into what has superstars jealous of Alexa Bliss, Finn vs. Roman, and Mandy Rose's storyline backlash. For today's question of the day, on a scale from 1 to 10, what would you rate Alexa Bliss's current character? So let's get into this story with Alexa Bliss's character. The upcoming week is the 1-year anniversary of Alexa Bliss's transition into this fiend persona that she still has till this current day. Things are obviously not the same way that it was last summer and last fall. Despite Alexa Bliss still having the dark character, this new persona for her also has seen some changes over the last few months. You have the Funhouse / Bray Wyatt sort of version of Alexa Bliss from summer 2020 to WrestleMania 37. Then after WrestleMania, she sort of transitioned again and entered this new Lily era. Still the same dark character, but with some slight changes due to her no longer being affiliated with Bray Wyatt and The Fiend. If used the proper way and given a storyline that has real direction and purpose, the Alexa Bliss character has the potential to be one of the most intriguing and interesting characters in WWE. Everyone always talks about wanting the goddess Alexa Bliss back, but from a character depth point of view, no previous version of Alexa Bliss has ever had this much layers to it. This version of Alexa Bliss can be so versatile. She can be extremely friendly with someone, she can be absolutely enraged with someone else. You just never know what you're going to get from her when you approach her, and that's what keeps it fresh. Former WWE superstar Chelsea Green was recently a guest on Those Wrestling Girls podcast and talked about how she loves Alexa's work and was actually legitimately jealous of her. Chelsea Green was pitching several ideas to WWE in order to get her crazy hot mess persona on TV, but it never worked out. She had this to say about the entire situation. "Trust me, I tried. I really tried. And when I saw Alexa Bliss do what she was doing, I'm so happy for her. But I've forever been jealous of that character because I know that is the exact type of character I would have thrived in if I was given it. But, you know, that's the crazy thing about wrestling." So Alexa Bliss's character has other women jealous, motivated, and wishing they were her in that role. Just a few weeks back, Liv Morgan was also praising Alexa's work for really being unique and felt like it was inspiring the entire women's division to just think more outside of the box when it comes to their characters. Now Chelsea Green is revealing that she's been extremely jealous the entire time and wishes that it could have been her. Even after Alexa was already thriving in the role, Chelsea didn't stop her pitches. Chelsea pitched for Alexa to take her under her wing and sort of turn Chelsea into this third wheel and minion for The Fiend and Alexa Bliss. Bray and Alexa watch on as Chelsea takes care of all the dirty work in the ring. That was her idea, but it was never picked up for WWE. Alexa Bliss is still crushing it from a character point of view. The only thing that's truly missing is some stronger storytelling and proper direction. If you give that to Alexa on top of the amazing portrayal that she's already doing, then maybe the character can get back to the level that it was at in late 2020 and early 2021. Former WWE superstar Tucker recently spoke with the Angle podcast, Joey Carney, and voiced his extreme frustration with how the Mandy Rose and Otis storyline ended. Mandy Rose and Otis storyline was a top storyline on SmackDown from December 2019 to just about summer 2020. A long, lengthy storyline that went through all these twists and turns, but was still a fan favorite storyline. However, think back to the non-existing payoff and ending to the storyline, and viewers were left with more questions than answers. So, how did this 7-month-long storyline end? What was the big payoff that came from it? Well, Mandy Rose was traded to Raw, Otis stayed on SmackDown, the end. That was it. That was all we got to wrap up that storyline. And that was our payoff for investing 7 months into this story. They went to separate brands, and it was as if nothing ever happened. We still don't know to this day if Mandy and Otis ever broke up, or how they broke up. We, the audience, still don't know what happened there. Then Tucker and Otis break up in a big moment of Tucker costing Otis the Money in the Bank contract, and no payoff there either. Tucker was extremely frustrated about all this and had this to say during that interview. "The lack of payoff. I have no idea. I'll probably go to my grave not understanding how you can have a 6-month storyline that was definitely a top 5 storyline, and maybe in terms of fan interaction, the top one in the company, and then just basically have those two go their separate ways and pretend like it never happened in the first place. Very insulting to the audience, in my opinion. It makes them, the fans, much less likely to invest in a long-term story the next time." This was just an amazing statement by Tucker because it couldn't be any more true. Fans were so invested in this storyline, and for it to end the way that it did felt like a slap in the face to the fans. And like he said, now the fans will remember this and won't get that invested or that engaged with the next big long-term storyline because they learned that payoffs don't really happen here. In movies and TV shows, you get payoffs that reward you for investing your time with a specific storyline. But at times in WWE and wrestling in general, it just feels like you get insulted for investing your time in a storyline. Proper payoffs are extremely rare to find, and the audience's intelligence is played with a lot as well. So this is a concerning issue that should be fixed. If you're writing a storyline and you're 6 months into it, you should at least have an idea for a good way to end it, a good way to reward your audience for investing their time, rather than abandoning storylines like if they never happened, and insulting the audience's intelligence. See Retribution, Alexa and Bray, the WWE Hacker, Raw Underground, obviously Mandy Rose and Otis, and so many more for examples of hot stories that started off strong but insulted the audience at the end, rather than rewarding them. So it's a real issue for WWE. If you want the audience to truly get deeply involved in future storylines, you have to pay off the current storylines and reward the audience for investing their time in something. So we'll see if that ever changes, but it was a great point by Tucker. If you don't reward the fans for a story, chances are they won't get invested into a new story you introduce, because the same thing's gonna happen. Let's get into what's happening on SmackDown with Roman vs. Finn. First of all, this is an exciting matchup. It's going to be fun to see, but you can't help but to once again notice the flaws when it comes to the ladder of contendership. Finn hasn't been on SmackDown in 2 years. He beat Sami Zayn once, and all of a sudden, he's a contender for the Universal Championship. That part lacks some logic, but guess you're not supposed to really think about that. Finn didn't declare himself #1 contender the way Goldberg did. Finn did issue a challenge to Roman Reigns, so it does make things a bit better than what's going on with Goldberg. Finn vs. Roman will likely last for a few weeks. We'll probably see the match as the main event of one of the upcoming SmackDowns. There's a lot of questions about the Demon. Will Finn be bringing him back? Finn hasn't used him since around mid-2019, and he has even admitted that the Demon story isn't done, that he looks forward to bringing him back. So now that he's back on the main roster, is it time for the Demon to return? Well, the Demon could return in the future, but it doesn't seem like it'll make much sense for him to appear in the Roman feud. Finn obviously isn't going to win the Universal title here, so it doesn't make much sense to bring the Demon out for a loss, especially when the Demon still has a 6-year undefeated streak intact. So, will we see the Demon again on SmackDown in the future? Sure, there's a possibility of seeing that, but seeing the Demon against Roman right now doesn't seem like. Maybe the Demon version of Finn could be a credible threat to Roman's title reign. The Demon was the first Universal Champion in history, so imagine if he dethrones Roman Reigns. It'll sort of feel a bit poetic. The Demon has the credibility to dethrone Roman Reigns. But what are your thoughts and expectations for Roman vs. Finn? Leave your comments, don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.